everybody, hope you're doing marvelously well. So a couple of days ago, you'll notice on my live stream that I decided to try out a brand new plugin. It was Plugin Alliance's, or Brainworks', I should say, new SSL 4000 plugin. They have an E, they have a G, but they also have another plugin, the Townhouse. So they have these three new plugins. So we're now going to open up a session and mix with all three, not just that one that I did on the live stream. The great thing about this, of course, as ever, thank you to Plugin Alliance and Brainworks, they're going to give these three plugins as a bundle away, and we've got 3 chances to enter to win. So stick around, watch the video, enter to win. There's probably something flying around here, or there, or down there, where you can enter to win. So there's 3 plugins in this bundle. There's the 4000E, the 4000G, and most wonderfully, it's the Townhouse Compressor. This is the heavily modded Townhouse Compressor, which was basically, essentially, a 4000 bus compressor, which they modded and made do all kinds of fun things. So I'm really excited to try this out. The Townhouse made some of my favorite sounding records ever. If you look up Hugh Padgham, you look up his credits and look up the albums he made in the Townhouse, they are some of the best sounding records ever, in my humble opinion. We're talking Phil Collins, we're talking XTC, and XTC. Why do I say that? Go and check out Black Sea for some of the best drum sounds you're ever going to hear. So I know, talking to Joe Barresi, he modeled his studio on the Townhouse. That's how much he loved it. Unfortunately, it's gone, but it was one of the greatest studios in England, in the UK, in Great Britain. So one of the greatest studios in the world. So I'm really excited to try this plugin out. Okay, so here we have a song I wrote a long time ago. This is a drum track that I did in an old studio I had. I love this room. It's the same room we used for How to Save a Life. Here are the dry drums. It's a great drum sound. Great drum room, loved it. The only thing we have going is some time adjuster, which I'm actually going to use a little more. Here, let's put this on here. What I'm doing here, making sure the 2 kicks are lined up. Let's have a listen. I mean, it's a great kick drum sound. So now let's open up a couple of different things. So here's our kick drum, which can go to our stereo bus, 5 and 6, which is our drum bus. So my kick-in is usually a little bit more EQ'd. You can see it's got a little bit more bite. The kick out, it's got a lot more low end on it together. Don't think I want to do a huge amount of that. I'm just going to go in here, go for 4000E. Pull out even a bit more low mids. You can hear this. It's just ugly. We don't need that. Let's go down to about 60. Now, the only thing I find is when you're doing that is there's it gets to be like a build up at about 100-ish. But I might do that at once. So what I'll do is I'll bus the 2 together and then do it on the bus. That's nice. Let's do a little 2-5. And maybe a little 7. And let's tighten up the bottom there at about 20. So what I'm doing is I'm high passing on about 20. High passing, yes. I'm boosting at about 60. I'm pulling out quite a lot of like 250, 300, boosting a little 2.5 and a little 7K. And now, let's bring an expander in. Just get rid of some of that bleed of the snare. There you go. That's a great sounding SSL kick drum sound. Okay, so I'm going to, for schnitz and sniggles, I'm going to pull down that same one. It's pretty darn close immediately. So I just copy the EQ down. So it's the same EQ, same compression, sounding great. Two together. I might, see, I'm only going on about 200, so I think I'll leave it there. I've gone up to 8K on that outside kick. There's no reason to. I don't need 8K on my kick drum. 7K is enough of a click. So two together again. Great weight, really good weight. Now then, I'm going to get crazy again. Yes, you guessed it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to get the E, 4000 E. This is sounding so good. Too much. A little bit. It's almost too much on the boost. Even more low mid cut. Now in solo, that seems quite a lot of drastic EQ. Let's listen to the whole thing together. I love this fader here. It just makes it so much easier. I'm also now cutting, high passing up to about 20. Immediately tightening up that low end. Okay, so we're going to try some stuff on the kick sub. It's pretty darn good. I don't want to do too much more to that. I just want to turn it up, quite frankly. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to grab my Plugin Alliance G. It's Brainworks. Low end's really, really good. I basically like the out kick most, this mic. I think it sounds the most natural. I think the kick in is definitely giving me some of that snap of the beta. However, you get the double hit sometimes with the two mics. I'm actually going to bring that down quite dramatically and blend the two together. That's much better for me. So cool, some gentle kind of SSL classic stuff. Okay, big room mic here. All right, let's have some fun with this. Okay, so here's the Townhouse Buss Compressor in mono. This is, I've been hearing so much about. This is the Hugh Padgham classic. Look at this. This sounds looks so amazing. So this is a big room mic. This is actually a closet behind the studio. Live room, slightly opened the door and a microphone put it in there. So this, of all things, this is something that could have some fun with. So I've got the threshold right down so it's cranking it. Oh. Now I'm abusing the heck out of it. Now there's so much, the bass guitar is bleeding because the drums were recorded live, so with other band members playing. So I'm actually going to insert, this is fantastic, I love this. I've heard so much about this Townhouse. This is the Townhouse compressor. This is the heavily modded, basically, you know, SSL 4000 Buss Compressor they modded. So I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the 4000E going in. I'm going to do a little... So you see I'm putting this beforehand. Pulled out some low mids, high pass up to 120. It's amazing. Here's with and without that new mic we just added. With. Nice polite drum sound. Oh, they're nice boys. They're nice boys, these rock and rollers. That's great. That is fantastic. That's the Townhouse. Now I'm abusing it because the signal is recorded really, really low. Remember, it's a mic in a back room, a long way away from the live room. I think we cranked the gain as much as we could get. So noisy as all heck, but it's fantastic. So I've got the makeup gain almost maxed out. I've taken it off auto, gone far left on that, far left on the attack. So it's like the release and the attack are going nuts. It's too polite there. Back there. What's it reading? 0.1 of a second, yeah. So the fastest release time and the fastest attack time. So it's just doing this. It's just trying to hang on to these transients. And the ratio at 10, threshold, the maximum. Immediately, great drum sound, great drum room sound. There's another mono room down here. So you know what I'm going to do? This one's a polite one. This one's about picking up the bottom of the snare and everything. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get, yeah, you guessed it, I'm going to go back to the Townhouse. It's still a mono feed, so. I'm just abusing it. Before. After. I mean, I think this is what it's designed for. The Townhouse Buss Compressor is just to give it dramatic energy. Off. So nice, so polite. In the whole mix. Bring it down. Throw in some bass. I mean, that's just insane. I love it. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to take our main drum bus here and I'm going to open up and stick on 4000E. Do a bit of low mid cut. Little 50-60 boost. Got to be careful, that big room has got so much low end, it's mudding up. Better. All right, so that's polite, that's nice. So what's happening there? Bring up the compression on that snare on the drum bus. All right, now let's duplicate that. So now we're duplicating the drum sub, and you know why. I'm going to keep that same compression, light compression and EQ going, then you know what I'm gonna do. You guessed it. I'm gonna go and find that same absolutely insane, wonderful, this time stereo bus compression. Ha ha! That was just bringing the threshold down. That slew rate, well, I'll leave it where it is. So I'm going to get a bit more aggressive on this. All right, so that's pretty insane. Really super aggressive. Let's bring it up underneath the normal drums. So it's parallel. This is the bass now. I've got some 80 boost. Some 700 for some nose. Got some guitars down here. They're a bit polite. They're a bit polite, so I'm going to go in there, get my 4000 G out. Do a bit of 200 on the guitars. High passing up to about 120. I don't need 2K in there. Going to pull out some 2K. Some 4.5K. Some 5. Go up to 8 for low pass. Let's compress it. Here we go. This is exciting. Sounds like an SSL to me. All right, so here we are, we're on the vocal. I know you said you're sorry. Super quiet, it's me singing. You got it. Okay, so let's just go in and put a channel on there. Why the heck not? Now, when I'm using SSLs, you notice I always abuse them. I boost EQ like crazy, like on here. I know you said first of all, turn the input gain up. Give me some 10.
Where I've heard that word 1,000 times, it always makes me angry. Knowing that I'm trapped inside this lie, and the wound has grown too deep to stitched up I know you said you're sorry.
Very quiet, very polite, very nice. So, so I'm bussing this into a vocal sub, which is going to some reverbs that you just heard magically come on. Sorry about that. You know, heck. Here we go. Here's the G. So this is.
I know you said you're sorry.
This is on the bus.
I know you said you're sorry.
So there you go. So great, let's have a listen to the second verse.
I take the hate and shove it deep inside, but I realize.
So I'm not running any DSs or anything. The only things that you can see I've got on this, I'm keeping it really simple. I took off most of the plugins. The song is essentially just the SSL, the new Brainworx SSL. It's great. Really good.
I take the hate and shove it deep inside.
I gotta be honest, I love that Townhouse. That's gonna be a huge seller. Let's just try on some fun things. I wanna hear what it sounds like on these clean guitars. I mean, they're quite compressed. I printed that with 116 to 1176. Let's go to these heavies. They're swashed as well. They're annihilated. Absolutely not. Let's get this guitar amp at the end. So I recorded my 1173. Why not? Let's put a Townhouse on that. The Townhouse is going to be on everything ever now from the history of compression. Love what it's doing with the picking. This is insane. This is the mix the song in 20 minutes. All right, Insanity. This Townhouse plugin is absolutely fantastic. The E and the Gs feel just like my console. I think we have to do a full-blown shootout. What we're gonna have to do is do a shootout using these plugins and compare it against my console. Say it ain't so. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna take a long time to do because I'm gonna have to mix the song on the console and then mimic it with the SSL compressors. So it's gonna be pretty crazy. I will say, the E and the G sound fantastic. I use them just the way I would, leaning over here. The biggest thing for me is this Townhouse is absolutely stupendous. I mean, it's gonna get used on everything. I mean, that's my 1173 mic pre-compressor that we did with BAE, the UK sound one. So it sounds fantastic. It's got grit, it's got that 1073 sound, it's got the 1176, but stick this on it together. There's a level change there, I'll bring it down. Even with barely any level change, you can hear what it's doing. It's really adds some excitement. I kind of want to use it everywhere. I want to stick it on the end of that vocal sub. Why the heck not? Just because. I mean, because this is a dirty rock song, so I can get away with things being a little annihilated. Here's the vocal.
I would bleed for you. I'll tear my soul into. The more you make me bleed, the more I swear I need you. I would bleed for you.
Total cacophony. What is the man thinking? He's crazy. All right, so let's go and listen to that second verse. See what it does.
I take the hate and shove it deep inside, but I realize I'm choking on the truth.
So it's got tons of extra functions. There's a side train here I can put on, which is fantastic. You can just turn it on and off. There's a mix control, so we can use it. We can really annihilate drums and stuff like that. Let's have a quick listen. Let's go to those drums again. Sounds so good on the drums. So let's go here. So the moment the mix is, it's annihilated. So I could take the mix. Great idea. Sidechain filter. Let the low end go through and not control the compression. Basically just the snare. Slap. That's kind of nifty. I'm actually liking that. See the difference it's making there with the sidechain? I'm going to change the input going in. Change that off. See the kick and the snare is affecting it. Now it's just the snare. Very nice. Bring that back in. All right, now I'm getting just crazy with it. Crazy, man.
And shove it deep inside.
I played another bass line on this when I did the 1173. So much politer. Let's see if I can mess it up. So this is politer. So let's bring in, I'm having so much fun here. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna get the E, and I'm gonna, like 80. This is done with the 1173. High pass just under 60, low pass about 7. All right, you know what we're going to do now? Well, let's compress it a bit. Now what I'm going to do, I'll keep the threshold at 5, it's fine, keep the release maybe a little faster. Cool, so there's a bit of EQ. Let's see what that feels like.
But I swear I've heard that word 1,000 times. It's great.
It's interesting. I'm not sure which bass line I prefer the sound of. There's something about my newer, busier one, or my original, disgusting, distorted, clipping, ugly one.
It always makes me angry.
I think I like the new one with the 1173. That's a DI.
But I swear.
Fantastic. Okay, so what did we discover? We discovered that the 4000E sounds great, the 4000G sounds great, they're quick and easy to use. For me, that has used SSL for a few years and actually owns one, I can go in there quickly and do it. It's not to say that I wouldn't use another couple of other plugins to get some detailed stuff. I think on the kick drum, I still need to build up some more controlled low end. I need to pull out a little 100, 110. I'm not going to do that with an SSL. I'm going to do that with a different kind of plugin. But this is fantastic. The Townhouse sounds amazing. It's not for everything, I don't believe, but I think for a sort of general annihilation, it's probably going to be a favorite of many, many people. I mean, soon as I put it back on, you can just hear what wonderful stuff it's doing. So thank you, Plugin Alliance. Thank you very much, Brainworks, for letting us have 3 copies of this bundle to give away in a raffle. So please, somewhere around here, enter to win 3 copies. I really, really love this. I'm very, very impressed. Great work. The Townhouse is a masterstroke. And for those of you that don't know this, the Townhouse was one of the greatest studios in London. It made some of my favorite albums. Go and look up Hugh Padgham's credits in the late 70s and early 80s and you'll see loads of credits for that room. XTC recorded there. Most famously, of course, Phil Collins recorded there. It's a big, big deal. So please enter the giveaway. Thank you ever so much, Brainworks, Plugin Alliance, for giving us those 3 plugins in the bundle. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.